Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Ted Lasso Season 1, Episode 8, The Diamond Dogs is the breakdown I'm going to be doing today. This was a great episode. Some ups and some downs. There's some characters that just will not learn. Let's get into it. It starts off, of course, after last episode. It ended with everybody getting laid except for Keely. Ted wakes up, and is his normal Ted self. Everybody's kind of waking up the next morning. You've seen Rebecca wake up, and the waiter is still in bed. You got Ted waking up and being all polite, as Ted does to Sassy Smurf. But he feels bad. He feels bad because Ted is a good guy, and he doesn't want to cause any drama with his friend, who he thinks is his friend, Rebecca, his boss. So he enlists the help of Nate the Great, Higgins, and Coach Beard for advice. He asks them their advice, and it turns out fruitful. He gets some good advice and decides they work out a name, and they call themselves the Diamond Dogs. Hey, there's the title, Diamond Dogs. So they called the Diamond Dogs, and he's like, I forget what the advice was that he gave them. Probably not to worry about it. Right. And I don't know if they said to say anything, but probably just not to worry about it. Either way, cuts to, we get Roy. Keely is misunderstood Roy, the fact that he just kissed her. She goes to go ask him to have coffee. He's getting a massage, and he says he's busy. So she thinks he's blowing her off, that he's not into her. So later, Jamie shows up. He's got a game in town, and Keely asks him to stay. And the next day, she confronts Roy, and she finds out that Roy's just trying to do something different. In all of his other relationships, his past, it's always been quick to start, whether it's relationships or one night stands, whatever it may be. And he's trying to do something different. He's trying to take his time because he really likes Keely, and he doesn't want to. He wants to learn from his mistakes. He wants to be an older, wiser man. And since Keely knows that, she ends up telling him that she slept with Jamie, and he gets all mad. Which he goes to Ted, and Ted enlists and calls on, puts up the Diamond Dog signal into the air, and the dogs come a-running. And they come, and Roy spills the beans and is confronted with some advice to just grow up and get over it. Because just because she didn't know, there was misunderstanding. It's nobody's fault. She wasn't trying to. I mean, maybe she was trying to, in some ways, some levels, hurt him. It was never an understanding that they were together, so there was no cheating involved. But yeah, it's just another piece where, Roy is like opening up. Roy's growing probably the most out of all of the characters in this film, right? If Rebecca had the growth that Roy has had since the first episode, there wouldn't be the end of this episode if that were the case. But anyway, Roy gets it. So then we go. So Ted goes to Rebecca to thank her again. He brings her an extra treat to thank her again for helping him with his panic attack. And she tells him that she's got a meeting with some of the minority owners in the team later at the pub. Ted offers to go with her to help her out since, she's, kind of getting beat up in the press, and he wants to be a good friend. So he goes to the pub to meet with the Milk Sisters, who are a minority stakeholder in the club. And it turns out when they get to the pub, that Rupert is there with young Rebecca, with new Rebecca, and he devised a plan to have his new fiancée, new Rebecca, his new fiancée, the purchaser of the shares of the team, or however it works, from the Milk Sisters. So that transaction and deal was done before Rebecca and Ted showed up to the pub. But Rupert wants to rub it in her face that he now has access to the owner's box and will be at every game to rub in her face and criticize everything that she's doing wrong with the team to the press, and just be the biggest annoyance to Rebecca and a thorn in her side. And so what Ted does, because Ted is Ted, he challenges Rupert to a game of darts. And the wager is that if Ted wins, then Rupert isn't allowed to go to any of the games. And if Rupert wins, then he can dictate what the lineup is going to be for like the next week, or I don't remember the amount of time, but it's a fair wager. And of course, Roy is like, again, the guy who's sword fighting with his weak hand. He's hustling a bit, which Ted is the best. Did I say Roy? Ted is the best, man. He's hustling a bit. He knows that Rupert is all ego and he's going to be an easy fish to catch. And Ted knows his strengths. Ted knows that he's been underestimated his entire life. There's an amazing moment where Ted is down by a lot. He has to get 2 triple 20s and then a bullseye or something. It's like this ridiculous thing in 3 darts to get to win. And Ted goes into this story about how he's been underestimated his whole life and all this. Very inspirational, as Ted is one to be. Let's just say he wins. I mean, this is a recap episode. He wins. Of course, the pub goes crazy. He's able to keep Rupert out of the owner's box. He's able to help out his friend Rebecca. She buys the drinks for the pub. Everybody's celebrating. It's great stuff. Everything's amazing. So in this episode, we got the great moment in the pub. You got Roy and Keely's kind of relationship getting going. Has a little bit of a rocky start to it, but they've worked things out and they communicated. Communication's an important thing with relationships. That's what I've learned from Ted Lasso and many other lifelong advice people saying of communication and relationships being interwoven into a tapestry of success. But yeah, a lot of great stuff happening. But the end of this episode, we're back in Rebecca's office, after her victory, her small victory, and Higgins, I forget what she asked Higgins to do, but Higgins gets mad because Higgins realizes that she's still trying to sabotage the team. She's still trying to torpedo the team and bury it and to ruin. She's using the team to hurt her ex. And Higgins had enough, and they have a fight. She's angry that Higgins pretended to be her friend while covering up for her ex-husband's affairs, which is fair. But Higgins, wants to move past that. He sees where the team's at. He's part of the Diamond Dogs. Rupert is welcomed into this new family of warmth, of helping each other out. They're literally getting together to help each other out, not only on the field. It's just like this positivity that grows. It's not about the wins and losses on the field. It's about making everybody the best person they can be. And Higgins sees that. He sees where the club is going. He sees where the team is going. And he also knows what Rebecca is doing. So Higgins gets angry and he quits. Triumphantly. I loved it. Rebecca doesn't think he's going to quit. but he's out, pieced. And followed almost directly after Higgins leaves, and Rebecca's sitting there dealing with that, whether she believes it or not. But Keely comes in. Because Keely was out with Roy when they were smoothing things over, and they giving each other a kiss, and a paparazzi was snapping photos. So Roy went over, grabbed the camera, and ripped the memory card out, and Keely storms into Rebecca's office because on that memory card from that paparazzi photographer was the pictures of Keely and Ted from a few episodes ago. So Keely knows that Rebecca was behind those photos, and she knows that Rebecca is trying to sabotage the team, and she threatens to tell Ted. And that's how the episode ends. Like, hopefully, in this next episode, hopefully this is the episode, right? When the season started, it was like, oh, Jamie's going to be the tough guy to win over. You know, he's superstar, whatever. But they win him over within a couple episodes. But it's too little, too late. He's gone, right? Because the biggest cancer of this team is the one in charge, the one who wants to destroy it, despite the fact that there is like a warmth and growth to this team and what's happening with a cohesive family of this whole everything, that it's just sad that there's this dark side to all of this light. And hopefully in this next episode, I don't remember. I've seen this season. I think we got 2 episodes left in season 1, and then season 2 starts. I don't remember what happens. I really don't. Like, I'm watching these episodes, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. It's been a while. It's been like an over a year since I've watched these episodes. I don't remember when the first season came out. But hopefully, this is the moment where Rebecca changes course. Right? Because her new friend, Keely, they just bonded. She's bonding with her old friend. Like, that's a stressful thing when you have a new friend meeting an old friend, and that stress of will they get along, won't they get along, is there going to be drama there, are my worlds colliding right now, what's going to happen? But it was like best friends from the start, Keely and Flo. And now Keely knows Keely's hurt. She hurt her friend. So we'll see what happens in the next episode. But this one was great. The whole scene in the pub with Ted throwing the darts, being the hustler, being misunderstood, letting people misunderstand him, and how that's an advantage to him. Great episode. And also just further loving the Diamond Dogs. You know, I do love that group of guys in this show. I would say Keely is probably a Diamond Dog. You know, she's one that is somebody that Ted goes to, and is, you know, a friend of Ted. But yeah, love this episode. Until next week, the Diamond Dogs are out. Get yourself some new cell phone service that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. It's great service, coast to coast, but the low rates are what you're going for. And because you go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/ting, that's right, Ting is the cell phone service, you're going to get $25 in credit. You can use that credit toward your service. You can use that credit towards a phone. If you already have a phone and you want to keep your phone, but you just don't want to pay so much for your cell phone service, head on over to Ting. Make sure you go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/ting. That way you get $25 in credit to use towards anything over at Ting. inspireddisorder.com/ting. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out.